The air is still thick with tension.
Staring out the window.
Woogum, standing near the window, stares out into the eerie calm after the storm. Hemmo, still skeptical, watches him closely. The room is dim, lit only by the flickering lights overhead, casting long shadows.
Half under his breath. What did you mean it begins?
Woogum turns, his face calm, but his eyes revealing the depth of his understanding.
You ever notice how the land feels different here, Hemmo? You don't just walk into Warrica. Warrica walks into you, seeping into your bones, into your dreams. The people here, the ones you think are silent, they're not afraid of what you think. Laws, guns, or prison. They're afraid of something deeper.
Hemmo, trying to remain practical, gestures to the files scattered across the desk.
We're lawmen, Woogum. The only things that matter are evidence, statements, and logic. All this spiritual talk doesn't solve cases.
Logic can only go so far, Corporal. There are forces older than logic, older than our badges. You've seen the signs, felt them, but you keep turning away.
Suddenly, the radio on the desk crackles to life.
Woogum, you don't resist coming down.
Henry steps closer to the radio, turning the knob to adjust the frequency, but the voice only becomes more garbled. Woogum calmly reaches over and switches the radio off.
What the hell was that?
Not just static, if that's what you think.
Nervously stepping forward. That's not the superintendent, is it?
No, that voice ain't for us. That's the call of the old ones, the ones from the mountain. They sense what's happening.
Hemmo, growing visibly uncomfortable, rubs his forehead. His mind races, trying to rationalize everything.
Old Ones, mountains, what is all this? We're supposed to be investigating a crime, not chasing shadows.
The shadows have already found us, Hemmo. We've been blind for too long. Woogum walks slowly around the room, gathering small trinkets from his desk. A bundle of dried herbs, a small clay pot, and a stone marked with strange, worn symbols. He places them on the floor, forming a circle.
You're not seriously going to...
Cutting him off. I'm invoking protection, Hemmo. You want answers? You need to see for yourself what Warrica holds.
Woogum kneels and begins chanting in a low voice, words not entirely audible, but their rhythm is ancient. The lights flicker again, this time in sync with his chanting. The air grows colder. Hemmo looks over at Grant, who is visibly shaking.
Whispering, Sarge, are we really doing this?
Grimly. I don't know, Grant, but something's happening, and we're in it now.
Woogum finishes his chant, and for a moment nothing happens. Then the faint whispering returns, this time louder, almost like a chorus of voices from somewhere just outside the outpost. Hemmo steps back, gripping the handle of his pistol out of instinct, though something tells him a weapon won't help here. Weapon.
Standing up, his voice deep with authority. The veil's thin tonight. They're watching.
Who's watching, Woogum? Who are they?
Looking Hemmo dead in the eyes. The spirits, the old souls. They don't care about your rank or your badge. They care about what's been stirred here. The land remembers, and so do they.
Snapping, trying to regain control. Enough with the riddles. What does this have to do with the suspect? Why is Warrica so different?
Woogum sighs deeply, as if deciding whether or not to let Hemmo in on a truth he's long guarded.
The man we hold, he's more than just a suspect. He's connected to something far older than the crimes you think he's involved in. He's a vessel. The moment you arrested him, you opened a door, Hemmo, and something crossed through.
Suddenly, the door to the outpost swings open, though no one stands there. The cold breeze rushes inside, and with it, an eerie silence. Woogum stepped toward the door, unfazed.
Calling out, Woogum, don't!
But Woogum stands at the threshold, looking out into the darkness. His breath fogs up in the cold, but he remains steady.
It's time, Hemmo. You asked for answers. Now they're coming.
From the distance, faint glowing figures begin to appear. First, just shadows on the horizon, but then they slowly take shape. Vague, human-like forms bathed in a soft light, moving slowly toward the outpost. Grant gasps and stumbles back, his eyes wide with terror.
What are those?
Whispering. They're the ones forgotten by time, the keepers of this land. You're seeing them because they want you to.
Almost whispering to himself. No, this isn't real, this isn't happening.
Real enough? You feel that in your chest, Hemmo? That tightness? That's your mind fighting what you know is true.
The figures continue to approach, their forms becoming clearer as they near the outpost. They appear almost translucent, but their presence feels heavy, like they carry the weight of centuries.
These are the witnesses, Hemmo. They've seen every sin, every betrayal, and every act of corruption, and they're tired. Tired of watching men like you pretend you're in control.
One of the figures steps forward, its glowing hand reaching out as if to touch the threshold of the outpost. Hemmo raises his gun, trembling, but Woogum places a firm hand on his arm.
Guns can't stop this, only truth can.
Voice shaking. Truth? What truth?
Quietly. The truth about Warrica, about the land, about us.
The figure reaches the door, its hand hovering just over the frame as if deciding whether to enter. Hemmo's breathing quickens. Woogum watches, unblinking.
The spirit world isn't separate from this one, Hemmo. It never was. You think I survived that bullet because of luck? No. Warrica chose me. Just like it's choosing you now. But you have to make a choice. Embrace what you see or reject it and let this darkness consume you.
Hemmo's grip on his gun loosens as the reality of his situation begins to sink in. The air grows still again, the whispering fading, but the figures remain at the edge of the doorway, waiting.
Softly, almost a whisper. It's time to decide, Corporal. Who are you going to be in this world?
To be continued.